Welcome back to the Ben Mulroney Show, and welcome back to the show wherever you find it, right? Because we're a radio show, but we're also streaming on apps like the iHeartRadio app, which I use more and more often these days, by the way. I use it all the time now, the iHeartRadio app. It's actually pretty great. But if I'm not listening that way, sometimes I like to go back and listen to the show as a podcast in the car. I personally listen on Apple Music, but you might be on Amazon or Spotify. Some of you don't have time to listen to the show at all, but you like to watch our short little clips on Instagram or YouTube Shorts. We thank you wherever you find us. We appreciate it, and because this show cannot exist without you on the other side of the radio or the other side of whatever you're listening on. Okay, the fallout from what has happened with Jimmy Kimmel is still being felt, and a lot of us are still trying to figure out what exactly happened, right? On one side, you've got people who say his low ratings and his unfunniness and the fact that he said something that was patently untrue on the public airwaves made it so, and the fact that he wasn't going to apologize for it made it so he is now on indefinite leave. Other people say this was an attack on the free speech of somebody who was an enemy of Donald Trump, and ABC caved, Disney caved to the will of to the bully pulpit of Donald Trump, and that's why Jimmy Kimmel was silenced. Those are really the two camps, right? And you can tell who's in which camp depending on their reaction over the weekend. For example, Canadian actor Tatiana Maslany, a tremendously talented actor, Tatiana Maslany. She was the star of a number of Orphan Black, one of the great sci-fi shows of all time, and also the star of the Disney Plus series She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, which could have been a great show had Marvel had their act together. There's no disrespect to Tatiana Maslany on that. They lost their way, and a number of great products, great titles were consumed by that lack of vision, and her show was one of them. Well, she called out more than 500,000 fans on Instagram to, quote, cancel your Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN subscriptions. I don't know if that means she doesn't want to work for Marvel anymore, but that was what she felt. Cynthia Nixon, who is exceptionally outspoken as a left-wing advocate, but also the star of shows like Sex and the City. Here's what she had to say.
I just canceled my Disney Plus and Hulu subscriptions, and they asked me why. I hit other, and I wrote, because I believe in the First Amendment, reinstate Jimmy Kimmel. Now, my whole family is really going to miss Abbott Elementary. We are really going to miss Only Murders in the Building. But you know what? We would miss the First Amendment a whole lot more. Don't go to the theme parks. Don't go on the cruises. Cancel your subscriptions now.
I mean, look, like nobody's telling me you can't say these things. Like nobody's saying you can't say these things. And it's not like he was arrested for saying anything. He lost his job on the public airwaves. Earlier today, Tony Chapman said that he would love to see Spotify give Jimmy Kimmel his own channel, like Joe Rogan, and he can do on the left what Joe Rogan did on the right. If all of a sudden Jimmy Kimmel finds himself on the largest podcast platform in the world, and he gets millions of people, is anybody going to be talking about like what's going to happen to that debate about the attack on the First Amendment? Because won't that be proof that the First Amendment is just fine? And it's a good faith question. It's an honest question. It's not loaded. I'm not looking to gotcha anybody. If all of a sudden he finds himself back in a position where he could affect even more people by doing something on a different platform, isn't that proof that the First Amendment is fine? I don't know. It's an open question. Here's an ironic piece of history for you. Jimmy Kimmel started on ABC because he replaced Bill Maher's Politically Incorrect, which was canceled because Bill Maher said something right after 9/11, which for a lot of people was a bridge too far. At the time, I wonder if people were talking about whether or not it was a breach of his First Amendment right. You'll remember Bill Maher is all over everybody's feed today, so his First Amendment right seems to be just fine. Here's him giving a little bit of advice or seeing the bright side for Jimmy Kimmel.
Life is weird. It was 24 years to the day that I made comments on ABC that got me canceled from that network, and Jimmy Kimmel took my slot. Did you know that at Politically Incorrect? Oh, yes, I got canceled before cancel even had a culture. This ain't new. It's worse, we'll get to that, but, ABC, they are steady. ABC stands for always be caving.
All right, before we go to break, we want to highlight the fact that our former Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, gave a speech, his first public speech on the sort of the corporate speech touring situation. My dad did that. Every prime minister, when they leave office, does that. He got paid a significant amount of money from what we learned last week. I think his going rate was $100,000. And look, they have a short window to make to draw value out of their experiences on that corporate a circuit. And so I do not bemoan or begrudge anybody. If that's what you can get people to pay you, that's what you get people to pay you. Let's listen to a little bit about what $100,000 got the audience. Here was Justin Trudeau reminding the audience who he is.
I was Prime Minister of Canada, which is the largest democracy in the world, if you count only by geography.
Now, if you listen, there isn't much of a laugh bed there. Not a lot of people are laughing, and that's because I think the audience is in South Korea. So I don't know that he's getting the connection to the audience that he used to get when he was in Canada or North America. Here he is talking about the accelerated change of the pace of change in the world.
The rate of churn, the pace of change in our world has accelerated, is destabilizing.
He's speaking very slowly. Very slowly. It reminds me of what I did in college when I didn't have enough words I had to give out a 10-page paper. I would just make the font bigger.
Ben, do you know of any Montreal actors that speak like that?
Captain Kirk.
Yes.
A little bit Captain Kirk. But the pace of change in the world, he goes on, and he talks about all the issues that he dealt with as prime minister. Listen, he's got the microphone. He can say what he wants. It seems like a lot of, there were issues beyond my control. I think there were a lot of issues in his control. But let's listen to whether or not he's optimistic about the future.
I remain as deeply optimistic about our future as I did 18 years ago when I stepped up for the first time as a young candidate in politics.
Well, you weren't that young. You just looked young. And I'm glad you're optimistic.
Are you surprised?
No.
Because he was always optimistic.
Always optimistic. I mean, look, but the facts on the ground should put pressure on that optimism. They really should. We are, I think anybody who's in politics is there because they think they can affect positive change. Nobody is there to be so that the house burns down on their watch. Everybody believes that they can affect the change that will make life better for whomever they think they can make it better for. That doesn't mean it's not going to be harder today than in recent memory. Like, we have a hill to climb as a country, and that hill got higher starting in 2015. And so I'm glad he's optimistic.
I think just him saying that would annoy a lot of people.
Yeah.
Including me.
Yeah, it annoys me too. It annoys a lot of people. But again, he's out of politics, and therefore shouldn't have a target on his back anymore, and go out there, give your speeches, live your best life, Mr. Former Prime Minister. Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.